Okay, it is 11 o'clock, almost noon. This is Monday, so let's go through a couple of these. This is lumber. I think lumber is at a support area. If you get in, you do it with a small stop. I do not trade lumber, but it's trading to those patterns. And uh, and so if it goes higher, I'd expect it to go to this area here or to the ABCD pattern. So it's holding up nicely. The this I'm going to say ditto on this for silver. Silver's at a support area. You have a couple of range boxes here. If it goes lower, then I expect it to get to this area. So far, so good. Um, it's a bullish market. It doesn't have this kind of volatility. That's what makes it nice. If you get nice volatility here, which I'm showing you with the cursor here, but so far so good, and let's see what happens with it. There you need to know what's at the above. So let me see if I can push this down a little bit here. So this is looking at the ABCD pattern. So this will be a resistance here, but this over here, the dashed line is the all-time high. I'm not sure what this is here. I'm not sure what this is. I have a reason for it, but I can't tell you now because I don't remember. So let's move on. I'm going to mention Bitcoin. I don't trade Bitcoin, but it's ranging. So we'll do this. And actually, it actually has gone a little bit lower. So I have lines on there. So there was a support area and it broke lower. So we may find that there are buyers here. I mean, this would be expected because it's a 382 and retracement from the bottom to the top. Where is that? Well, from the bottom to the top, it came down to the 382. I put this in for you. I don't know if I had it before, but I added it this weekend, or at least I saw it this weekend. This is an ABCD pattern. So, and it's been ranging, predominantly a ranging market here for Bitcoin. So, well, but it's also near its all-time highs. So you can see it here. The highs are up here. Nothing major. So let's move on. I would follow the dollar looking for the results on the metals, in particular on the gold. So certainly it's holding its own here, and it's more than holding its own. It came to the sellers, and then on this bar here, um, it opened, went a little higher, then lower. So it did that today. This is today's bar. If it starts going lower, and it might, because this is mostly sellers here, but the market came to the double top and it's holding. So looking at this, well, it's holding. This is a double bottom here, but it might be bearish enough that it'll trade lower here. We'll have to wait and see. But if this goes lower, we'll see. It's likely that the dollar would go higher. I'm sorry, the gold would go higher, and maybe the the um, I'm having a senior moment. The silver. We'll look at it. I don't think this is so bad. I heard news because of the stuff going on with Iran that there were going to be a lot higher highs in uh, the crude oil. I don't believe that. I mean, it could happen, but if you'll remember, I was looking at this as a market that was trending higher, then it expanded. And then what I said after that point, that it would probably range. And I said that on the second or so bar here because of the range of the bars. And so, and it did that, but I know I did. I fixed up the range boxes because it ended up here in this general area when the market was trending, and then it did wild moves like this and like that. That's an expanding market, and that's good for buyers and sellers. So, and there's a high up here with this. Let me see what it is. So it's a 50%. I should take it to to the left there, but I want to get through with this thing. So, uh, uh, the oil, um, the oil has a lot of sellers when it goes higher. There are a lot of sellers here. So I think I would trade it looking at the range boxes. There are two of them. It may be if it goes higher, we can focus just on the top range box, but it's not particularly telling me anything except it's still volatile to the extent that it's trading like this with real nice bars here, and even today's bar, or this is today's bar, as a result of the stuff in the Middle East. It went a little bit higher, but I'm not sure that it's going a lot higher. I'd wait and see, and I would play with the range boxes. If I took a trade, I would do that. Um, I don't see a trade here per se, but on a 4 hour chart, and I'm having troubles with the 4 hour charts here, but troubles with the software. But I would be looking at a range box or a 4 hour chart to find opportunities in the market. I'm trying to develop this thing so I can see it expand a little bit. But let's move on. There's a difference between the ES and the Russell. And the ES is kind of on the bullish side, and the Russell's not behaving the same way. So I would trade them a little differently. It's been years since I've traded the Russell. The last time I did the Russell, it was in the I forget what was it on. It was they changed the where it was. I'm blocking on the name of it, but any case, I shouldn't have brought it up. I can't remember. It wasn't ISIS. I forget what it's called. Any case, if I were trading, this is the ES. I would trade the ES. I would trade the ES if I. Well, I'll tell you what. I don't know what to say. The ES is still holding up and it has support. And since it's been trading for a little bit, this is the 4 hour chart. It seems to be holding up. Maybe it'll go higher, but I want to compare it to the Russell. And so if the market goes lower, I would be more inclined to short the Russell than I would the ES. But when they move, sometimes they both move in the same direction. But I would say that the Russell is not as strong as the ES. The ES is near its all-time highs, and the Russell's trading in some kind of range. And we'll leave it at that. So the Russell's down by 4 points. Where's the ES? It's up 7 points. So I probably wouldn't fight the. Uh, I wouldn't fight those numbers. But if the market really goes lower precipitously, then I would say, and I'm talking about the ES. You may find that you want to be. If that happens, you have to be careful that there's a breakdown, and that the ES is going lower. But it is bullish. It's not bearish now, and for some reason, it's holding up. We did that already. Gold. So gold's holding up. There's a support area here. I put an ABCD pattern in here in case it starts to blow lower, and that would take you to this area, which you could use also as a support resistance area. But it's holding here. It's not fantastic, but it's holding, and that was the all-time high. So, if just a word, if you have if you have an A B C D pattern, so if you have that and you make this your target, and the market starts going higher and it gets above this point, I'm going to put a little sign there for it. Let's see if I have a yellow or something. Something I can remember. I'll put a green there. If it gets above this level, just get rid of this ABCD pattern. The ABCD pattern is for it to get lower, but I discount that pattern if the market gets above the green line. It just takes it out. I wouldn't use it. So this is trading in a range box or in a range. It's a range box. That's what it is. And this is copper. Let's put it on a daily chart. And it's in the middle. You see three range boxes here, so it's in the middle. It's kind of in a central zone here. I wouldn't really call it. Well, I think it's more bullish than bearish. I mean, the market did a movement like this, could only get down to here. So, but it's trading in the range box. But it's tradable. Just look at the bars. It's tradable, and it's in the middle. That's kind of neutral. I always forget what it's called, but there's whatever this relationship is, the market can't get above it and it can't get below it. So it's in kind of a neutral zone. And this is in the middle of three range boxes. So it's similar, but looking at slightly different patterns on the chart. But it's not bearish. And I would call it more bullish than bearish, and I would trade it according to the range, which is about 5 points, I think. I might be reading that wrong. So, and I like this pattern to it. The fact that it's doing this, it comes lower here, goes higher. And I would say ditto on this since it hasn't happened. I just gave you a warning on the recent one about if the market gets above A, B, C. If it gets below this, forget about the A, B, C. If it gets below it, if the C breaks down, then you have to be careful of that. It's all about how it trades around this point. I'll do 1, 2, 3. And so if this market goes much lower than this, than this area here, if it went to this area, if it went below here, I would get rid of this. I could still use my range boxes, but I don't like to lose the three, whether the market's going up or down, and it disqualifies it and it makes it a pain in the neck if you try to keep a pattern that really isn't consistent. And consistency with the three or the two, depending on how the three or the C. Yeah, you know what I mean. A, B, C. If it goes below this, forget this. That's all I can tell you. And if you don't believe it, just try it and see what that means to you. So, so why is this not going up? What did I do? Oh, there we go. Oh, we talked about palladium. Did we talk about palladium? I don't know if we did. It's bullish, and it seems to be going higher, and it's trending. You can see today it went higher with a two-bar reversal that drove it higher. So it used to be palladium would go up with with gold, and it really hasn't done that until recently. It used to do it all the time. So there used to be. I have a brother who, well, he is not with us anymore, but I was telling them to get into gold and silver. My brother picked also palladium, and palladium I think was probably a higher price than the gold when he did this. And this was about 2030, 2000. Yeah, when the market had its low. So that doesn't sound right what I said. It's the low in the market, whenever that was, whenever it was. And but it has not been trading as well since that time. So, but it is bullish, and you can trade it, and pick your trade location. Yeah, this is going higher, and actually, it's interesting. Let me make sure that's true. Well, we were looking at the coffee in the range box. So if a market goes below a range box, it's a broad range box. If it goes below it, then you expect the market to go lower. And what you would do possibly is add another range box. Now, this is just an idea of a range box. I don't like all this empty space in it, but it is trading that sellers are here and the buyers are here. But as it was going lower, when I was looking for it to find support, and it traded to this A, B, C, D pattern. It was telling me up here, because this is a press of lower tops and lower bottoms, the market's probably going to break through the support area here. And then it came, I think, to here or to here. I can't remember. Probably to here. I'm not sure. But why is that important? Because if the market came to here, and the problem with it is, I'll tell you this: whether it came here or not, it's not a two-bar reversal to go long here. But if I see the market breaking lower, I would consider this a support resistance line. The market traded around it, but then it went lower. So I use the A, B, C, D pattern when the market's up here to judge how much I would put credence to the support resistance line of the box versus the market breaking lower to an ABCD pattern. And that was the thing to do. And then you look for a reversal here. And none of these bars gave you a reversal until today. And then what it did is it opened, then it went higher. And now we have to wait to see if it's going to hold. But this is the day to go long. And there's also a 3A2. Oops, what's that? There's a 3A2 line here, and that's in confluence with the ABCD pattern. So if I got long, I'd keep a small stop and I'd try to trade this thing higher. Where's the first area where I'd expect there to be resistance? It would be in this area. So, um, but there, you never know, because you can put. Let me put this on a smaller time frame, a 4-hour chart, and then you can look to see where the two-bar reversals are. And so what happened? It's interesting. The market did. This is a two-bar reversal. That would be, I don't. That wasn't today. That was the week. That was before the weekend. But it didn't hold, and it wasn't a trade. And then when this market opened today, it did this, and that makes it a two-bar reversal. And then it had a nice move higher. And it may find sellers here apparently because this market did this. It went down to here, but the market came up to a double top. I really think it's going higher. I would say this would be an easy target here. I think the points are about 5 points. I'm not sure. I moved everything around here, but I would be looking for this market. I would try to go with a long trade, and that's what I would do. Since this is a 4 hour chart, if you want to know more details, you have to go down to a 2 hour chart. But this is a support area, and that's coffee. We talked about Russell. Tesla's moving like crazy. What I would do with this, I'm a little surprised at this, and it's right in the middle of this, even though I can't remember the name of it. It's a very common name. There are traders that look at this when the market's in the middle of a high and a low. It's a very simple name, but I just can't remember. But I did this on the weekend, looking at it as a range box in the middle of this. I think they call this a controlling swing, if I'm not making a mistake here. And so, but the problem is you're in the middle of it. So you really never know for sure if it's going to go higher or lower. So this is what I did in the weekend, and it did this. So it's expanding higher. So, and it's up to here somewhere. And that's really good for Tesla. But Tesla has sellers here. You need to be careful of this. My personal belief is it'll test lower. And the reason is if you look at the bigger time frames, I don't want too big, but I want them big enough that you can see all the stuff over here. The market's here, and if it breaks higher, it's still going to run into sellers. So I would manage my risk reward, um, or even if I scaled in, you know, um, uh, my only student now uh, has been in Tesla for a long time, but she's scaled in to Tesla, and that's help her when the market's been so volatile, trading very volatile, very tradable, and so you can clean up on a market like this as long as you don't keep on adding to losing positions. You have to be careful of this. So, but it's doing well, and Elon's probably feeling pretty happy. My guess is he put a lot of money in it when it was at the support. That would be my guess, here or here. Arbitrage. Let's see this. This is lumber. I think we talked about lumber. Nevertheless, it's a bullish pattern. This is a support area. This is a support area. This is today's bar. So I'm kind of inclined to think the market's going higher. I put this on my charts because I was cruising for something that might be useful for people who are looking for trades, because when I did this, the market wasn't easy to trade. The market was tough at that point, and I saw um, the uh, the this market here, and it's bullish, and I would expect it to go higher. But if it goes lower, there's a support level here. Remember what I said about this: A, B, C to the D. If this breaks, well, how do I want to do it that way? I don't. Whatever I said, forget it. This is what you want. This is okay from A, B, C. And as long as the market doesn't go below here, if it goes below here, um, I wouldn't count on it going higher. It can, but I want very precise rules. And on this here, 1, 2, 3, or I call it by letters and numbers. I don't know which one, but this is a 3, and if the market goes below this, then that makes it less likely that it'll go to a new high. So I would get rid of it if the market gets lower. But we're looking at a market that has not presses, but pattern, higher tops and higher bottoms. This is just a support. I would expect it to go higher. I think we did this. They're all the same to me, and I don't remember what I did earlier because this is the third time I've looked at the chart this morning, and it's 25 minutes, and so it's holding its own on silver. And I do remember because I showed you the lines up top. Now that I think about it, but why would I forget it? Because I started this earlier this morning, cleaned up some of the things, didn't like the video, and then so I didn't post it. And then I thought, well, you better go and post it, mostly because I think that coffee is going to go higher, and I didn't want to miss that. I didn't want to show a miss on it. But I talked about it, so even if I didn't go back, I'd tell you, remember what I said, a week ago or whatever. Well, in any case, silver's holding. If I were going to trade the silver, I would try to trade it at the support resistance lines like this or the bottom. If I try to go long when a market's testing this area here, the support area. That's what I would do. With this, you're in the middle of it somewhere. I don't know what it's going to do. I'm not really that enthusiastic about this. I mean, it's been a very bullish market. It's done the things it's supposed to do, but I uh, I am concerned that it's going to be a little tougher than people think for the market to go much higher. It could happen, but I wouldn't bet on it. And sometimes they'll get better or they get worse. It doesn't matter. If you look at range boxes and you believe the range box is representing what the market's doing, or a support resistance area or an ABCD pattern, and if something in any of those tools don't work, then just get out of it. That's what I would do. But what I would also do is try to incorporate the nature of all of this, the higher tops and higher bottoms, and my range of how the market's going to trade is going to actually it's going to include the bottom yellow one, even though it's not there. Um, so if it goes a little bit lower here, um, which it is not doing now, this is a daily chart. It's above the opening. It's a two-bar reversal higher. And where would I expect it to go? If I use the box right to this area, which is a two-bar reversal lower. And so you don't have a lot of range to this, but you can still see where the buyers and sellers are. And when the markets get confusing, you don't have to trade. I would recommend not trading, but I would also recommend put the patterns up that you think may have credibility, and don't be aggressive, and and you know you want to, if you don't like it, don't take the trade, but follow the pattern, because if you do that, you'll get a sense of what it looks like. If somebody's looking at a range box, you get a sense of it. You learn to look at the patterns between bars and the range of the bars, and it's not that clear here, but this is the range. And this is where the market had sellers and went lower. So you want to be careful of shorting, and it's too late here. In fact, it's too late. So to get long here. So the long is somewhere down here. And I will say this, but I don't want to work it through. If the market, well, first of all, it went a little bit lower. That's the outlier. But if the market goes higher and then comes back lower, you may be able to find the trade. You can find a trade. You can find a trade um, uh, when the market reverses to a support area, even though the market went higher. And it seems like the market's going lower. You can still take the trade if you're comfortable that the market is at support. And so, and what I'm really saying is this thing with two bar reversals or support resistance areas, they're tricky right at the support resistance. It's just the way it is. And and when you draw range boxes or even support resistance lines, you can have outliers, and in one blip, the market takes out your trade unless you want to stay and hold the trade. And what I would say, I would try, if I were trading this market, I'd try to get in at this support area here. If I had gotten in it somewhere and it's doing this, I know it can break down and go a lot lower, but I think it's going to get to here. And I don't know what the range is, but because I don't see it, I didn't put it in. Well, this is 1 point. That's a $5,000 move. So it's a pretty big range here. But you can work it. You can work the market. Remember, I try to show you when something's at a two-bar reversal, like here. I would tell you, I don't know when I said it here, but sometimes I'll get you a two-bar reversal. Then the market goes higher, and then it comes back to where it had the reversal, and then now it's a two-bar reversal lower. But if you know that the market has fairly significant support here, you can trade that. You can wait for a market that you missed because it went in the direction that you like, but you got too late. You got too late to it. You didn't do it, so you missed the entry. And sometimes they'll come back and do a test. And once you get familiar with this, you just say, "Well, I'll let it come back." And even though it's coming back to where it went higher, and I'll take the trade because I think all in all the market's going to go higher. Why would you think it on something like this? Because the market has support, does this, it's going higher and lower, but eventually it does. It basically never gets down to this area. So I would give this market room. If I got in, went a little bit lower, but wasn't going too low, I'd try to stay with the market, always trying to have small stops. And I'll show you some of those things. I do talk about them from time to time, but it's much easier. Whatever I just talked about, most people, this is 30 minutes, they're not going to listen to what I said. They're tired. They're not even listening. They're looking at another chart somewhere. But in any case, that's it. And that's it.